Here is a February garden update. So I'm going to show you my garden as it is at the moment and my plans moving forward. So this little garden bed, even though it may not look like much, actually had all the potatoes were all in there. I've harvested the potatoes, harvested the lettuces, some still there. There are still some herbs along here, and I have actually planted a few more herbs, chives and onions. I've added in some more compost because in this area I'm going to be growing a lot more brassicas. So the garden bed is getting ready. There are a few more plants to plant around the outside as well. Along here I've got that garden bed ready. There are some little flowers and herbs all around the outside of that as well, for when I plant some more brassicas there. A little courgette finishing off. Over there is my comfrey area. I've got some seeds to collect. I've got the spinach seeds going, and also all the comfrey there, I use that as a natural compost. So I take off the leaves off it as needed and add it to the soil, the holes, whenever I'm planting out. Got some chamomile seeds to still collect, and I've also sown some nasturtium seeds in there so that any aphids, anything non-beneficial can go over to this area instead of coming over to my brassicas. Right there. This little area here has done incredibly well. You can see all the lissom, calendula, self-seeded. You've got all the herbs as well on the outside, which have protected and worked really well with all my tomatoes. I've harvested so many carrots and just come out and harvest them as needed. You can see there's some more over there. So the outside border of herbs and flowers have been really, really beneficial. No bugs or any nasties in that garden there. Another wee courgette. Over here we have still a bunch of the beans, more courgettes and tomatoes. Still flourishing really well. So the beans adding in some nitrogen into the soil for the heavy feeders. And then you can see all down here I have prepped this area. It was a pathway, but I'm actually going to use it now. Once all of this is ready to kind of harvest out, this here is going to where I'm going to have a setup for all the brassicas. So I've planted out some herbs along the yellow pocket. I've planted out some herbs all along the edging, right the way along. They are small at the moment, but I've also planted onions all the way up there, so you can see all the herbs there, all the way down the bed. It's got herbs, chives, onions, all the way down, even if they are really small at the moment. All the herbs and the flowers, so that once the brassicas are big enough, I'll be planting them right in the middle here, right along there, and it'll be easier to cover with netting if needed as well. Got my little pumpkins here. Not quite sure what type of pumpkin, but we shall see. 3 of them growing. I have covered the base here with mulch, with compost, and also gave them a decent feed today. Over here, so you've got the calendula, you've got all the beneficial flowers in that as well, integrated with them. Over here I have a whole bunch of peas in amongst the pumpkins. So the peas are there to add a nitrogen into the soil, plus my children absolutely love them, and I do too. And you can see I've got some little butterfly silhouettes, not sure if they quite work, but I've seen a few kind of flying around, so we shall see. Butterfly silhouettes, because this is where, and over there, that's where a lot of the brassicas are going to be coming in. So that's the pumpkin patch, finishing off with the zucchini there. And then this little area here was where all my garlic was. Now since I've harvested it, I've allowed the borage to kind of just do what it needs to. Of course it's beneficial with the nasturtium. Still got a couple of lettuces in there, and I do have an onion in amongst the alyssum there, right beside Pocket. Pocket's our kitty cat, so there's an onion there, and all the alyssum here works well because I have this big gigantic beautiful lemon tree right underneath it, so the alyssum is bringing in all the hoverflies to help the lemon tree so that it doesn't have any white flies. So the hoverflies come in order to be able to eat any of the white flies if they do come around, or aphids. So there we go, that's there, and that's just the other angle. Was hoping to grow a few more beans and peas. The tomatoes grew well up this wee trellis. The beans have, but it didn't quite work as I'd initially hoped, but you know, we live and we learn. So that's that there. I've got some beefsteak tomatoes growing up there, some little sunflowers, and yes, so that's that part of the garden's update. So just quickly on the seedling area, still got quite a few seedlings. You can see my brassicas way at the end there. I've got a capsicum to plant out, and a few more of the seedlings there. So I have been taking them in and out over by the main garden in order to harden them off. There's some more there, but at the moment I take them in and out of shelter. Right, we've got this wee area here. This area has got a whole bunch of just random seeds to see how we go. Hasn't quite germinated that well yet, but we shall see. We've got a mix of radishes and cosmos, just a lot of bunch of flowers to be able to kind of see what will grow and add in some more beauty. All the strawberry plants that are runners that I have potted up, and then we've got all this area here of various pots. This is where the cucumber, tomato, lettuce and a whole and sunflowers were. You can see they've just finished all the harvest, so once they've completely died off, hoping to plant another couple of brassicas in there. We shall see, because the growth in there has not been that great, so I think it needs some turning over and perhaps some more compost. All old flowers. And here I've got another wee pumpkin growing beside a chili, and if you notice there is there we go, peas as well. So the peas again are nitrogen fixing, so they're giving food to the chili plant but also to the pumpkin, so they're really good companions there. Behind the area, all the nasturtium, I have allowed that to pretty much just take over. It is really easy to move if needed. Great for attracting any sort of aphids and non-beneficial bugs, but at least they have somewhere to kind of sit and play and eat, and as long as it's not my edibles. So is that there, and I can move it back as needed, as there is a whole bunch of like strawberries and that in there as well. Last but not least, there's the raspberry plant there. Do have some grapes. The grape vine there, which this one, I don't know, since we've kind of moved in here, it has never really, it's grown to there, but they've never, oh, there's some ripening there. Maybe this year is our year for it to actually ripen. And last but not least, we've got the lavender and the alyssum here alongside all of my tomatoes and another lettuce in there. Pop lettuce in wherever I can, really. And of course some basil. So that's my garden update.